I'm a volunteer at the Freedom Center at the Detroit Metro Airport. And what the Freedom Center is we're a hospitality center for traveling military, both active and veterans, as well as spouses or children of those active and veterans. So we're a hospitality center, and traveling military, they can come and it's a home-like atmosphere. We provide them with food, beverages, some like amenities that they might need, toothbrush, toothpaste, things of that nature. We also have bunk beds that they can take a nap at if they have a long layover, or we have TVs, free internet for them, and we really want to make sure that they're as comfortable as possible, because they do so much for us, and it's the least that we can do to provide them with these services for when they are traveling and away from home. I had a really humbling experience a couple of weeks ago. This young girl, she was probably around 20 years old, and she was away from home. She was traveling, and Detroit was one of her stops, or her layovers. I was getting ready to close up, and she came in very distraught, you could tell. So I asked her, what was going on, and her father had just passed away, and she pretty much broke down. So I sat with her and I talked, just let her talk. I listened to her and what she had to say, and at the end she thanked me for staying open and listening to her talk and vent, because she was away from home. She couldn't get a hold of her mom. She had no family, and really she had such an impact on me, because it's those times that you think about how lucky you are to have a family, to have all your brothers and sisters, your mom and dad, when she just lost her father, and now she has no father anymore. So really, I wasn't doing her a service, she was doing a service to me. I meet a lot of people all the time, and it's just a humbling experience to get to talk to them and have a little bit of impact on their life, even if it is just them stopping in to get a Coke or a granola bar. Sometimes the lasting effect you leave on people is more than you really know.
Hello, my name is Chuck Davis, and I work at an automotive supplier company. I work in the electrical engineering group. I sit behind a CAD station, a computer station, and I work on car parts, sometimes in the lab, and a lot of meetings I go to. I try to be open to what God would have me do in the workplace. At one time, I thought you had to work at a Christian place to do anything for God, but then I've grown to learn that that's not necessarily the case. God is everywhere and all-powerful, and therefore He can use you anywhere. And I try to be open to seed planting. I don't try to hit anybody over the head with any kind of Christian dogma or philosophy. It's interesting because one of my hobbies actually is defending the faith, and I enjoy talking in-depth conversations with people about those things. But not everybody wants to do that. So I try to be attuned, and sometimes I fail and sometimes I'm not attuned, but I try to be attuned to what it is that I can say and do to steer people to a deeper conversation. For example, today there was something I didn't even think about. It was a spontaneous act. A few of us were by the coffee machine, and somebody said, it's Friday, and I immediately said, and Sunday's coming. And thinking of the Tony Campola sermon I'd heard once, or talk I'd heard once, Friday's here and Sunday's coming. And the people laughed, thinking that I was being sarcastic about Sunday being that much closer to Monday. But I wasn't, and I explained to this one person who stayed behind exactly what I meant. And we talked about Tony Campolo for 5 minutes, and he said he was going to go look him up on the web, and who knows what seed was planted today. maybe none, maybe some. This is how, though, I think God can use people if you're open. An example of being open is a friendship that I developed with a person, not thinking really of doing anything other than becoming his friend. He's a much younger guy than me, and we would have our Taco Bell lunches where, after we'd known each other a few years, we'd go out and talk about the faith and talk about reasons for and against it, and I was provided the answers for some of his more tough questions. He became increasingly interested, and to the point where he became a disciple of Christ, to the point of, and having been baptized and joining the church, became quite active and enhanced his life. He already was a good person, a good acting person, but he developed a deep faith that was borne out as witness in his own life. This person lives in the inner city and takes long walks, and on one of his walks he would routinely come in contact with a homeless person. It happened to be the same homeless person, and nothing was said except by my friend in terms of a short greeting, hello, hi. This person would never answer until one day, after my friend said hi, this homeless person said, "Can I have your shoes?" Now, my friend was interested and glad that he finally got a response, but he was a little taken back by that request. But he said, "Of course you can have my shoes." And so he was right then ready to give him his shoes, and he did. The homeless man insisted that my friend take his shoes. And my friend didn't want to do it because those shoes were quite a mess. They were soiled and filthy and had quite a rich aroma to them. But in order for the homeless man to receive the gift that my friend was giving him, my friend agreed to take the shoes. And so the exchange was made, and my friend continued on his walk, got home, and immediately threw away the shoes. Well, that began a long relationship with this homeless person, and they got to know each other, and they developed a relationship based on friendship. Well, to make a long story short, this homeless person was a heroin addict and had lost everything. He'd had a manager's job sometime in the past, and now my friend was discipling him in a way that was non-threatening, but was very nourishing in terms of spirituality, or in terms of the spirit, for the homeless person. The homeless person became unaddicted to heroin, became clean, went back to live with his mom, and eventually on his own. He cleaned up his act, and he became a manager of a restaurant, attends church, and what a great story. I mean, here is a case of a person living out his faith, my friend, in such a way as to meet somebody where they are, where their needs are. This person, my friend, did not need to have the person say the sinner's prayer or have any doctrine discussed, although those things I'm sure came up as they developed a relationship. But as a result of that, and my friend taking the initiative, what I believe God wanted him to do, and which is obviously consistent with God wants us to do, is to reach out to people that are hurting, to people that are open, and be led by the Spirit. Here's a great case of where seeds were planted and what great fruit was harvested. I'd like to think that our conversations had a small part to do with my friend's development, but whether it did or didn't, it's those kind of things that you never know where that fruit is going to grow, and you never know the results of any good kindness or any kindness that you show your fellow man, how that's gonna turn out. The important thing is for you just to be open and be open to the Spirit's urgings. And whether you realize it or not, it's up to us as individuals to act in a Christ-like manner and allow the Spirit to do His work in the people that you come in contact with.
Hello, my name is Mike Davis, and this is Brent Albrecht, and we both work together at Connexus Group, IT staffing company based out of Metro Detroit here, and I just wanted to let you know our story and what we do around the holidays. So last year, we decided to adopt a family here in the Metro Detroit area. And, last year was the first year that we did it, and we're obviously had a great experience, and we're going to do it again this year. And it's a humbling experience, you know, and it's really good to be able to give back, you know, to the community, and we're so fortunate, you know, for what we have to give back to the less fortunate. So, with that being said, Brent, I think can share a little insight on how it went last year and talk a little bit more about the family.
Yes, you know, it's a program I've had a lot of experience with over the years. My previous employer, we got connected with Volunteers in Action and the official Adopt a Family program, and then coming here to Connexus last year, discussed it with management that we have a corporate approval to do that, and then Mike was instrumental in helping me in essence meet this family. So we contact the family. In this particular situation, was a single mom, 4 children, and you know, just having a rough go of it. They had to move out of their home a number of times. It was a black mold situation, and they were just constantly being uprooted. And you know, when we went out there, and you know, it's such an interesting process to go through, because as we're talking to the mom on the phone, and she's talking about, you know, some of the things that she's gone through and what kind of Christmas those kids are going to have. And then when we specifically start going into, you know, what are they looking for, what clothes, what toys, things like that. And then as we pivot to mom and say, well, what are you looking for? Inevitably, it seems every year it's the moms are responding, you know, I don't want anything. You know, this isn't about me. I'm just appreciative of any help you can provide my kids. And we're always like insistent on, look, you know, in this particular case, Michelle, you know, we want to help you as well. And really, she had a tough time just coming up with a couple of things for the home, because she was just so grateful for what we could do for her kids. And when we went out there, we a little bit before Christmas, you know, you feel a little bit like the Santa Claus coming in, and yet you know that you don't want it to be an embarrassing situation and then to feel funny when you're coming into their home. But she was very welcoming. No home, admittedly, I don't think had a lot of heat. It was pretty cold in there.
It was cold, dark, lights were off.
But the kids were shy, you know, initially, which, you know, that makes sense. But you know, because we're so entertaining, you know, we were able to kind of break down those barriers, and they got more comfortable with us. And the one thing we always say, we said to the mom ahead of time, we're like, you know, can they open one present? Because ultimately, that's the joy of this whole thing. You know, it's all. Pastor will say it's not about the presents, it's about the gift, and that's what we're trying to replicate through here. It's the meaning of Christmas. And so she said, yeah, they can do that.
And that was really cool.
It was great.
I enjoyed that a lot, just kind of seeing them. And again, they were a little shy, you know, opening presents, because they just met us and they're like, kind of, who are these weird people in the house giving them presents? And I think the younger one maybe didn't understand as much, but
you know, and they reach for the one box, and we're like, oh, not that one, that's socks. So
yeah.
Go for the football. Yeah. So we opened the football. It was a huge hit. The kid loves sports, and so you know, that whole. And then we're like, can we open one more, and then one more? So I mean, it's tough to leave. You get, you know, make a connection in a brief period of time, and it's tough to separate yourself from them. Well, anyway, to summarize this, is we received an incredible, heartfelt letter from her after we were there, and I'll just if I can just hit a couple of the items that she indicated. So she just says, I want to thank you all for everything your company has done for us this Christmas. I'm not sure how much of the application I filled out that you got to read. I want you to know that this last year has been a nightmare for us. And she goes into some of the things that they've gone through, and then she talks about her kids, and she says, you know, it didn't matter if there wasn't money for anything, but it mattered to me, and I'm grateful you chose to help me. My kids are grateful too. There was a time not too long ago, they were winning the pizza parties at school, they were doing all these activities, and we as a family were donating clothes and toys to homeless shelters. And she says, I'm not sure how they feel about having to be on the receiving end now of this, but I hope it will teach them that you should always care, and anything can happen to anyone at any time to change your life from a normal one to a not so normal one, where the things you may have taken for granted before are hard to come by, almost impossible. And then she just goes on to really indicate how much she appreciated anything, and she appreciated everything, and she wraps up just saying, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. I know you have helped me in a day I know that would have been a painful reminder of everything that they have lost into one of happiness again. And Michelle. So, you know, we're doing it again this year, and we get more out of it than I believe they do. It's just a blessing to be able to share in this small way.
Hello, I am Dan Davis. I am a bartender at the Plymouth Crossings in Plymouth, Michigan. I've worked there for 4.5 years now as a bartender / manager. Influencing people's life is a huge thing for me. I would like to think that I influence people's lives on a daily basis, but one incident in particular is a 85-year-old man that I've grown very fond of at my work. He is a great guy, doesn't have a lot of family, so a couple Thanksgivings ago I brought him over to Thanksgiving dinner because he was alone at his house. And to me it was such a small thing, but in his eyes it was a very big deal, it seemed like. Just things like that, some little things like that influence people's lives more than you know it. And it's not always the big things. Just being a good person and daily things that you do are always a huge thing. As a bartender, you learn many different problems from the people that come in and talk to you. They want to come in, you're kind of like their counselor. They talk to you, you listen, and sometimes all anybody ever needs is someone to talk to, listen to. You can give your input to their problems. And let them know how you feel about it. But like I said before, it's the little things in life that mean the most to people and that make the biggest difference. It's not always the big things. You can do anything on a daily basis to make your life better and the people around you.
Hi, I'm Michelle Davis and have been a teacher for 20 years. I've worked with special needs children in lower socioeconomic areas and have been employed for the last 16 years as a preschool teacher. While settings and situations change, one constant always remains. Teachers impact their students daily. Not only are we responsible for their academic achievement and progress, but we affect them on a more personal level each day. My particular preschool setting is a place where lots of learning happens, but in addition, children feel important, loved, listened to, respected, and responsible. These characteristics they'll take with them forever. I think it's so important to let children know that they're cared for and loved unconditionally. As teachers, we are role models and set examples. I'd like to share with you a situation we had with a student last year. Jeremy had a medical condition where he was only able to eat 7 foods. He was so allergic to so many things, it was a little frightening to realize the seriousness of his problem. Before the start of school, we teachers decided to have Jeremy's nurse come in to educate us regarding his condition and what to do in case of an emergency and how to create normalcy in Jeremy's life. We went above and beyond to show Jeremy and his family our care and concern and desire to make each day as good as we could. Let me read you a letter that his mom wrote last Christmas. I wanted to take the chance to write a thank you card during the Christmas season to express my gratitude of what you've ensured for Jeremy. To Jeremy, being able to go and feel safe in a place that is fun and he learns at is so special. He loves to read to me what he'll be learning about the next school day off the calendar. I'm so grateful for the opportunity for him to attend such a grand school in which he is included in everything. You may not think you've done much to aid in this, but you have. As Jeremy's mother, there have been many times I've had tears in my eyes or actually cried when seeing or hearing about the normalcy Nolan has at school. I brag often about the Learning Express preschool and the amazing teachers that Jeremy and Lillian love. I've never once worried about Jeremy's safety at school, and that in itself speaks volumes. As educators, a little ripple in a big pond goes a long way.